Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. This article comes to you guys from the Mobile Report. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So this is the longer video that I wanted to make. So make sure you guys grab your snacks, Coke Zero, popcorn, drinks, dinner, whatever it is. Make sure you grab that and let's get right into it. So earlier this morning, T-Mobile themselves dropped some breaking news on us from the T-Mobile newsroom that we're getting new home internet plans. And on those plans, we really got two new plans. We got the Home Internet Plus, which is a more premium option. And then we got the Away plan. And the Away plan is really meant for customers that need to move the router or are always on the go. So let's just say you have a vacation home or a cottage out in the middle of nowhere, and you're taking that router to that cottage. That's who that plan is for. Now, before, that wasn't a problem because that specific customer was still paying the same monthly rate, and they were using it at home for the $30, $40 price point, and they were using it at the vacation home or the cottage. Well, that's now changing. That price point is now $110 for 200 gigs, or $160 with autopay for unlimited. So that just made that part of the service completely undesirable. It's now cheaper literally to have a router at your house and a router at your vacation home, if eligible, than it would be to purchase that $110 or $160 option. If you have T-Mobile and you can get two internet routers at the $40 price point if you bundle it with wireless, you can get two of those services unlimitedly, if available, at each of the addresses. I just wanted to put that in perspective because I don't think that was looked at closely enough. That $160 price point for the Away plan from T-Mobile, if you can get that service approved at your home address and at your vacation home, you can get it cheaper by having two individual services at each of the addresses. Just pointing that out. Now, if you're still the one customer that's taking it on the go, you're taking it to the hotel, just get a hotspot. Just get a T-Mobile hotspot, and that will be cheaper as well. Just throwing out some options to keep you guys away from that Away option. That Away option, in my opinion, is a complete dud. That was not needed, and T-Mobile is likely going to keep that on there, but that will never be discussed again. We will never hear from that again because it will simply not be used. The amount of customers that might get that plan might be one or two people. I can probably, at the end of it, I'll probably be able to count on my hands how many people get that Away product or service or plan, I should say, because it's just so undesirable. It's a plan not needed. It's priced way too high. T-Mobile's network is not premium enough to warrant that price point. So, and they can't even guarantee that the services will work across the entire country to meet your needs. You could literally go RVing in an RV and be in the middle of nowhere paying $160 and the shit not work. So that to me is a complete mess. By them introducing that Away price point, not needed at all. So I wanted to get that out the way to start off the video. So now to the biggest news drop today, the bomb that T-Mobile dropped, the geo-lock. So the customers that have been approved by no fault of their own, right? And at the store level, that could probably turn into a he said, she said, because how is T-Mobile going to prove that wasn't the address that the rep has been given, right? So whatever the case may be, right, it's going to turn into a back and forth, he said, she said. But 99% I'm sure that the reps started using addresses that they knew were approved to get people approved. So in a sense, they're kind of hurting T-Mobile because now, right, there's a customer that has the service at an address that's not approved, and they just took away an opportunity for a customer at an address that's actually approved to get the service, because now that address will be listed as not eligible because it's already been put in the system as approved. So that's one negative, right? So they're hurting T-Mobile that way. And now the next step where it hurts T-Mobile is a customer that's at an address that's not approved is using the service. Now they're slamming in a sector of the tower that didn't have enough capacity to begin with. So that leads me to my next point. A lot of customers that were approved through an eligible address that didn't live at an address that was approved likely have already churned in large bulk, because the engineers had to look at that. And they had to say, look, there is a customer in this neighborhood that's using up a ton of traffic, and we really don't have any customers that were supposed to be approved. So they're damn near choking that customer's home internet line to barely usable or unusable most parts of the day, to where that customer is churning anyway. Right? So now the ones that did stick it out, the ones that may have been on a sector that did have just a little bit more juice, those customers will be receiving notifications starting May 8th, and they will be terminated at some point in time shortly after May 8th. So keep that in mind if you are one of those customers. Now, I do want to point out as well, I have to make this clear. If you are running around going into the T-Mobile availability tool and you're putting in your address, even though you did the proper steps and you got approved through your address and you're checking your address now and it says you're not eligible, that's not because you're not eligible. You were eligible. It's just because no other slots are available in that neighborhood. And for one, and two, there are already services available at that address. So T-Mobile is not going to approve that address again, right? If you move out and take the services or have to turn them back in because the other address doesn't have T-Mobile approval that you're moving to, and that sector still has slots open, that address will open again in the future. Just to throw that out there, because I saw that in the comments earlier, so I wanted to clarify that as well. Also, if you are still on the regular T-Mobile unlimited plan and you never got an access mesh point and you don't need the professional 24-hour services, your plan will stay the same. Nothing will change for you. So I wanted to clarify that as well. Now, if you wanted to move to the Plus plan and get access to 24-hour support, or you wanted to use the access mesh points around the house, you need to extend the Wi-Fi range, then by all means get the Plus plan. That's completely up to you. But for a majority of you, the plan you're on now will serve you still the same. Now, I feel T-Mobile made a really bad mistake here. I think they could have made it more attractive to move to the premium plan by giving that plan a bit higher priority. Maybe they could have guaranteed that plan like 200 megabits a second. They could have done something else, add a perk, whatever. They could have done more to make that plan more attractive to get upside and upsell, right? Now, there's hardly any room for T-Mobile to upsell for the reps. Most homes aren't that big. I mean, I know there's some homes out there that are 2 stories, so you might need that access mesh point. But for the most part, if your home is around 17 to 2,000 square feet, you should be okay, depending on where you place the router. If you place the router in the middle of the home, you shouldn't need an access mesh point. Now, if you have a 3,000 square foot home, 2 stories, you might need that access mesh point. So T-Mobile is really just making an extra $10 off of you. Because as far as I'm aware, as far as I was told, under the plan that was presented that everyone has signed up for, that got approval for the unlimited plan, has had access to that mesh point already. So I don't know how T-Mobile is going about that. I'm trying to get some information. They might force you onto the Plus plan anyway because you have that mesh point, or they leave you alone. Whatever the case may be, we'll find out soon. So this all starts, I wanted to point that out too, April 26th. right? If you don't sign up for T-Mobile, if you don't have T-Mobile, that unlimited plus plan or internet plus is $75, $70 with auto pay. It's ideal for customers with heavy usage, more devices, larger homes, hard to reach places. That's how T-Mobile is advertising this. This is for the bigger homes, the 25, 3,000 square foot homes. Heavy usage, I don't know what T-Mobile considers heavy usage. 1.2 terabytes is the cap before deprioritization kicks in, if that's needed. If deprioritization is not needed and your tower is fine, has no issues, you will continue to stream 1.7, 1.8 gigs, whatever your usage is, or terabytes. So if 400 or 500 gigs for T-Mobile is considered heavy usage, then, that might be fine for T-Mobile to call it heavy internet usage. But for the power user, right, they might be using 2, 3, 4 terabytes a month. BitTorrents, downloading, gaming all the time, downloading game updates. All of that pulls bandwidth and is added to the total usage of the internet. So you guys can check out the rest for yourselves. I mean, you are presented on this plan. You specifically are presented with the newest G4 AR T-Mobile gateway. So that should be, right, that should be the best performing product possible. But I'm still under the impression, right now, that they have these different tiers of home internet plans. And people are now saying, well, up to the 1.2 terabytes, you are on a higher priority versus other users that are over the 1.2 terabytes. Again, I will clarify that as well to close out the video. I have been speaking with several different engineers from different regions. At the market level, this was a nightmare to optimize and manage for, period. But from what I was able to gather, this product was never put on the lowest priority. It was just managed differently on a market level. So others now are seeing, and I'll throw out this example, others in their neighborhoods are now seeing higher speeds closer to mobile, whereas before they weren't seeing that. But that's likely because they are now below the 1.2 terabytes and they have opened up more priority to home internet users. But their tower doesn't really call for heavy managing because there's enough capacity. My neighborhood, for an example, huge DSL neighborhood. So guess what? Lots of FWA customers immediately transitioned. All the T-Mobile slots are taken here. All the Verizon slots are taken here like that. So what's happening now? Once all the user cycles resets here, and I'm a T-Mobile home internet customer, the 1.2 terabytes, throw that out the window because there are many users on that same sector pulling from that usage. So T-Mobile has to manage that sector differently. So I still, and I'll preview that probably this weekend, I still don't get anywhere close to the speeds that mobile does. Right? Mobile, when I test the mobile without Wi-Fi, I still get way faster speeds. I'm doing 400 or 500 megabits per second on mobile. On the home internet, I'm doing 50, 60, 70, 80. Now, I'm doing that consistently, but I'm not even getting close to 200. So, in my opinion, they're managing this, or at least I was told, they are managing this differently at the market level depending on the amount of capacity that's available. Now, of course, T-Mobile did already analyze and calculate on a per sector basis how much capacity they have, and they factored in a bunch of different factors, like if we grow mobile usage to this percentage, if we do this, if we add this. So they have it figured out. But still, each region, each tower is still managed differently, in my opinion. I'm seeing people post up to a gig on some sectors on FWA. I'm seeing 500, 600, 800 megabits per second and uplink as high as 100. I'm not seeing anywhere close to that, even though my mobile speeds are much faster. So let me know your experience. Let me know what you're thinking about this change. I know people are saying this is going to be a huge mess. For those of you who stuck around to the end of the video, I have been told it's going to sound like a huge mess, but it's going to be very simple. T-Mobile is going to send you a notification May 8th. Hey, your address was never eligible for home internet. You need to send the router back. You will probably get something in the mail. Put the router in this box. Send it back to us. No charge. And that's that. The services will just be suspended. What else can that customer possibly do at that point? If they keep the product, T-Mobile will just suspend it, then it no longer works, then they have to send it back. If they don't send it back, guess what? They will be charged full price for the router. The customer is screwed. Now, it might cost disgruntled customers. That's very possible. But other than that, there isn't much the customer can do. They just have to return it and find another service. And if that means going back to DSL, I mean, what can they do? They either put up or shut up, right? They can choose some of the T-Mobile plans that are available, the Away plan or maybe the Lite, right? T-Mobile Lite. I'm also hearing 2 of those tiers have been removed. So they have some choices, or they can go back to their DSL service, or maybe there's another cable provider available in the neighborhood. So let me know your thoughts on all of this. I'd like to read that in the comment section. Make sure you guys stay tuned for more. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one. Peace.